Okay, so now we're gonna start decorating the actual bouquet for the quinceañera. So I ended up making, I'm not sure how many of these little ribbon flowers, just to make it seem like, you know, what it's gonna look like once it's done. I had another ball where I was sticking them on there too, but I had noticed that here on the bottom of this part, because I started from up here in the middle and then started filling it around, I noticed that here on the side, some of these flowers were like coming out this way. So I think the way how I'm going to start it is I'm going to start putting the flowers in from the bottom part. So I'm going to start on this side first of the foam ball and then make my way around until I get into the very top part. So before I start putting the flowers on there, I have to try to put this thingy, which is going to be the part where you hold on to like this for your bouquet. And right now I'm going to measure to see exactly what's going to be the center of this, so then that way I can kind of cut out a little bit and then put a lot of glue in there so that way I can stick this in there and then it won't, you know, be too flimsy, because the sample foam ball bouquet thing where I have the actual flowers like stuck into, it's pretty heavy. So I'm going to have to put a lot of glue in the center. The hot glue gun, it's going to be my best friend for now. Put in the center and then stick this in there and then put more glue on it, and then that way I can start decorating it. Once the flowers are on the top, you know, once they're done, then I can start, you know, decorating this thing by putting the ribbon around it and other stuff that I got to make it look pretty. Okay, so now I already made the little hole on the inside, so I can stick this part in there like so, like this. I would say it's maybe about an inch deep in, and then I don't know if you guys remember that I had mentioned that I was going to use these little like cake board little things or whatever. These ones usually come with like a center, a little hole like that, but since we need the hole to be bigger, pretty much the width of this little tube thing, cut it. First I measured it with a pen and there in the center, and then I used an X-Acto knife to cut it with. Be careful when using any sharp or hot objects. So I cut that off. The thing about this is that the hole, as you guys can see, it's like too big, and it's okay because I'm gonna end up using this thing to cover it with the tulle ribbon. So this is going to be like a layer, right? So you're going to see it, and it's going to go on here like that. You can see, I gotta probably cut this a little bit more, just so that way it's somewhat the same width, just a little bit, just like that, how you see it. And then we stick that in there, and it should be something like this. It's not going to be perfect, and you won't really be able to see it because the little like ribbon tool things that are going to go around on like this part is going to be covering it, so it's okay. And then besides, the flowers are pretty bulky too, but here's a little idea, kind of a little example of. Okay, so now what I'm going to start doing is I'm going to start cutting the tulle ribbon that I'm going to use. I'm going to measure it onto here to see how much I need as a length. That's going to be from this part till like, so pretty much what I'm going to do is I'm going to measure the tulle. It's going to be this long in here, and then I'm going to pretty much glue it onto this thing already, and then at least have this base done. And then next I'll probably end up leaving this for the last part, and then I'll just end up putting the flowers onto the foam ball. So now we already cut the ribbon, and this is just a couple of them. So now as you guys see, they're cut. Now we're going to burn off the ends like I did here, if you guys can see, so that way it doesn't come undone. So as you see, I have my little candles and I have my lighter. So that's what I'm going to end up doing right now. And then once I'm done, I'm going to start showing you guys how I'm going to put it on that little cake board plate thingy. So here I ended up measuring a piece of cardboard that's 10 inches long and 3 inches wide. And this is going to be like pretty much my little stencil, as in wrapping the tulle ribbon around it a couple of times so that I can cut it. And then once it's cut, then I can start like gluing it onto that little cake board thingy, and we're gonna start having these little like loops, kind of little loop ribbon. Okay, so now what I'm gonna end up doing is I'm gonna start putting the ribbon roses, flowers, or whatever, along the edges first, so then that I can see how many I can fit, and then the last one will be obviously the one that goes in the center, and then that way I can see if I still need to make more, or if hopefully I still have some left over. Okay, so go ahead. Start off by poking a hole. Now I gotta try to see how close to the edge they're gonna be. So I think about right here should be fine, because So if you see the flower still like dangles out a little bit. That's if I leave it that way or if I put it closer. Let's see. I've seen that when people make these, they don't put no little like stick in them this long. They just cut it off and then they'll just end up gluing the bottom part to the actual foam thing itself. But I kind of don't want to glue it onto the foam thing itself, so then that way, if I don't like how it looks, how I've been doing it so far, then I can just take it out like you guys just saw me do. So I think maybe this way looks a little bit better. Probably turn it that way, like that. Because either way, you still won't be able to see the white foam. I don't know. So again, I do have to try to put this thing on here so that way we can see how much of it's going to show. So if it's this way, and then I cut out the other circle to go on there, to go this way, like that. Let me see, kind of have to do it this way to see what it look like. So you can't really see the foam thing. A little bit you can, but not really. So either I'll leave it like this or just end up leaving the rose how I had it before when I first put it on there. I don't know, that's the thing. I don't know if I should leave the little stick thing on there or not. Because if I put it there, then you can't really see the foam. So maybe I'll leave it how I first had it in there when I first shoved it in there. So I'll have it like that. And then that way you'll have it. And some of the flower holding out later on the side. So just to give the roses a little more open look, probably just push it down a little bit. Just push, push, push. See? Flatten it out a little bit. And then probably try to put this here as close as I can. Maybe like here. And see, it's still too much. Right here. So I think that's good. So not too much, not too close, maybe that's good. And then I'll just leave it like that, and I'll show you guys what it looks like once I have all of them along the edge. So instead of leaving the little skewer stick in the middle, I decided to cut it off and to just start putting glue on the bottom. Well, you guys can see the glue already that dried up from when I was rolling the rose petals together. So I put glue on the bottom and then placed it onto the foam ball. I started to notice that it was easier to do it this way, and it would help me get closer towards the edge of the foam ball. So then that way you can't really see somewhat a lot of the foam ball itself. So here I'm just showing you guys how much of the skewer stick I ended up cutting off after all. I ended up leaving at least a little bit so that way the skewer stick would somehow help the rose stick onto the foam ball with a little extra grip to it. Just in case if for some reason the glue started to rip off of the foam ball, at least the skewer stick would still be like shoved inside of the foam ball, so somehow the rose would still be attached to it. Here's the first row of the ribbon roses onto the half foam ball shape. And so here's the second layer of the roses on the styrofoam half ball cylinder. Okay, so I'm done with the third layer of roses, as you guys can see. First one, second one, and third. And now we are gonna start the fourth one. Okay, so here, this one was the last one that I ended up putting in this little, I don't know, I call it like a turtle shell bouquet. Because in the shape of a turtle. But it's the last one. And just so you guys see me pressing down on it, that's exactly what I did to all of these. So that way, the rose kind of looks like it's open. But this is the finished product so far. I'm placing these onto the little foam ball, half ball, whatever shape thing that I was going to go in. See? Looks, and then if I flip it upside down, that's what it looks. So it looks way better than I did on the other one where I had first stuck them onto. Okay, so now I'm putting this upside down. What I'm going to start putting on here is, I have this ribbon. It's kind of like tulle ribbon. These are 10 inches long, and the width of these is 1.5. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to glue it like this, put these together like that, and then glue them on to this side. You guys see I have glue on these right here. I had done something else with these and it didn't come out how I wanted it to, so I was able to unglue it a little bit. And then I'm going to place them like this. And what I'm going to do is just fill this entire thing of nothing but these little ribbon things, and then I'll show you guys what it's going to look like afterwards. Okay, so here's what it looks like. This is the first layer of the ribbon. Let me see if I put it this way. You can kind of see it. It sticks out a little bit, not really. So maybe you'll be able to see a little bit better once I end up putting all of the ribbon like that. And I forgot to mention before, I had cut out 42 10-inch ribbon pieces so far. And then this is the bottom part. So as you see, the center looks kind of icky. Looks like eerie. But we're going to cover that with one of those kickboard thingies. I'm not sure if you guys can really see it, but I'm going to end up using one of these. So I'm not sure if I'll have it facing this way, the white part facing out, or this, the brown part facing out. But that's what it looks like. And then if I flip it over, it will end up looking a little something like this. Okay, hopefully it's a better view, but you can't really see the tool just a little bit. Kind of looks a little shiny, but that's what it looks like so far. And then now next what I need to do is I need to try to figure out how am I going to cover this thing, which is going to be the part that you grab onto for the bouquet. Okay, so now what I'm going to end up doing is I'm going to cover this, all the ugliness from this kickboard thingy, with ribbon that's the same kind that I ended up using for the roses. So what I'm going to end up doing is I'm going to make this go in through here, like this. And then we're just going to start making it go through, so that way I can cover the entire thing with this ribbon. I'm not sure about how much ribbon I'm going to end up using to cover it, but I think for now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pull it through and kind of measure it, kind of, sort of ish, to see how much I am going to end up using. And then once it's all covered, it's not glued or taped or anything, then I'm going to cut it and then start gluing it on here. As you can see, just going to keep going and going and going until I get to cover the entire kickboard. Now, since this ribbon, you guys see, has two sides. One side is shiny and then the other side's like a matte color. You want to make sure that the shiny side is sticking up. Like that. I'll probably scoop this a little bit closer. So I can already tell I'm going to need some more. This isn't going to be enough. So, probably have to put this out. But anyways, but you guys see what I'm going to end up doing next. So, from here on now, in this video, it's going to be at a fast pace and you guys will not hear me talk. So now here on this part, I'm putting glue on one of the ends as a little tube. As you guys can also see, I had cut out a circle out of a piece of cardboard. That circle you're going to use it as like a little cover for one of the ends of the tube. And this is so that way when you start wrapping it with the ribbon, it doesn't poke through or rip from the bottom. So now next what we're going to do is we're going to cut a piece of the ribbon so we can cover that bottom part that we just closed off. Make sure that when you cut the ribbon, you burn off both of the sides. You guys will see what happens when you don't end up closing, or burning off, I mean both of the ends, I should say, of the ribbon. And then make sure to put some glue on those little like flaps you guys see from the ribbon that we put. So, make sure you guys press down hard on it. You might end up having like little flyaways, kind of like little spots like sticking up. Go ahead and put some glue underneath it too. But as you guys see that I'm using a hot glue gun, make sure that you guys are very careful. The glue here at this point wasn't as hot anymore, so it was kind of easy to just press down. And then here, you guys see how I'm pointing to these little flyaways? These are the ones that end up, I guess, like coming out. It makes the ribbon like come undone when you cut it, so that's why it's important to cut the ends from when you cut it from the roll. Here, I just ended up putting like a little bit of glue to the tube just to start wrapping the ribbon around it. As I continue to wrap the ribbon around the little tube, I would put a little bit of glue on each turn just in case if the ribbon wouldn't like move, I guess. So it didn't look kind of weird. Once you put the glue on there, it kind of keeps it in place. Okay, so I finished wrapping it. Now I'm just going to end up cutting the piece of the ribbon. Probably cut that much. And then burn it like we did with the other one.
Everyone's. Aquí está la palomona. Ya le pegamos un chagüerazo. Porque vamos a ir a Madera, California.
So just like this too. Okay, so here with this one, we're just gonna leave it there. Let the glue dry for a little bit, and then we're gonna push these inward. So then that way, it's making all the ribbon cover the tube. So just how that is there. So it's dry. So you get this. We're gonna put some glue. Put glue right in here along the sides. So there we have our tube. Okay, so here's what it would look like if I were to glue both of the things we did today. So like this, that little cake plate. As you can see, I covered it with the ribbon. And then also this, the little tube. But I'm still waiting for some stuff to come in the mail to put on top of this. It's like a lace type of like fabric stuff. So you guys will see that as soon as I have it in my hands.
So here, I already have one of those little like diamond pin thingies in the center of one of the roses. I'm going to show you guys some of the stuff that I have to decorate the roses with. So as you see here, I have some little flower shaped little like pin thingies. And then I also have these butterflies as well. I am waiting for other
little gem things that I ended up ordering to decorate the bouquet. I'm not sure if I will end up adding them on there, if I do end up getting them on time before the day of the quince. But here I'm going to show you guys the pattern that I ended up doing with those little diamond pins and the little flower shaped pins as well, and with the butterflies. So I ended up making the pattern of adding, you know, one of the roses having that little flower shaped pin, and then the next one would be the diamond pin, and then the next one the flower. So it's flower, diamond, flower, diamond. And then the butterflies, I just ended up spreading those around just randomly since I only had 10 of those. So here on this part, you guys can see that I ended up taking that little diamond piece off of the little like bobby pin looking type of things. I ended up doing it this way, but then I seen it, like, I kind of figured out that it would be a little too much work. So instead, I just ended up leaving that little diamond head on top of that pin thing, and then just adding glue to that, and then just placing that little flower pin on top of it. And it actually worked well. So here first, I just wanted to show you guys what the bouquet would look like if I only ended up leaving those little diamond pins on there. And then next I'll show you guys what it looks like once I put the flower pins on there as well. And here it is once I ended up adding the little flower pins onto the other flowers that didn't have anything in the center. And the next after this, I'm going to show you guys what it looks like with the 10 butterflies that I have. So here, this is what it looks like with all of the stuff that I actually had bought first to decorate the roses with. Like I had mentioned before, I'm still waiting on other little gems and jewelry to add onto the bouquet. I'm not sure if I will end up adding to it or not, but so far this is what it looks like if the other stuff doesn't come on time. Okay, so pretty much for the ramo, for my quinceañera, it's pretty much done. I already put the butterflies and then those little like flower thingies on there, and then these other little gem, I don't know what they're called, like brooch thingies or something on there. But anyways, so the thing that I'm doing now is, if you guys see like right here, on this part where the tul is at, there's not really nothing here. And so it doesn't look too, I don't know, like too boring. I ended up ordering these little leaves. If you guys can see. They're like the rose leaves. They're gold colored. So since the rose petals kind of cover that big old glob of the hot glue, I'm just going to end up using them and putting them right here on this part where the tool thing is at, just to give it a little bit more pizzazz. So I ended up getting 2 bags. Each of these have, oh, I'm holding it backwards. Each of these has 50. Yep, so it's right there, a 50 piece. I was gonna put them in between like the roses and stuff, like here and stuff, but no, I think that would be too much. So I'm just gonna end up using them right here on this little bottom part, I guess. And then I'll show you guys what it looks like once I'm done putting them on there. Okay, so now I am done. You guys can see I put those little gold colored wreaths where the tool is at. So technically now I am totally done making this quinceañera bouquet for my niece. Let me show you from the top what it looks like. And from the bottom, you can't really see much at the bottom. See? There. And then a little bit of bling on the bottom. And there's some of that lace, too. I wanted to make it look fancy and blingish, but I didn't want like to have too much bling on it to make it look tacky. So hopefully she likes it and she's happy with what Dia made for her with a lot of love, blood, sweat, and tears. And here it is, y'all. Our quinceañera bouquet. As always, thank you guys so much for watching my videos. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And go ahead and leave a comment. Let me know what you guys thought about this, I guess, this little style of bouquet. And until next time. So I put it in this little, like, plastic paper, like, wrap thing. It's like a roll of this clear, like, wrapping paper you usually get for, like, flowers and stuff, or, like, bouquets. And I had ordered this for that baby shower diaper cake thing that I made on the last video. But I'm just leaving it there so that way it doesn't get any dust or dirt on it. And then it'll be nice and clean and ready for Saturday.